Welcome back, it's Ryzen, and today I'm going to be going over Tower of God chapter 554. Real quickly before I get into it, if you enjoy Tower of God content, be sure to subscribe to the channel as I have a ton of it already existing and even more on the way. And if at any point throughout this video you catch yourself enjoying it, don't forget to leave a like, and without further ado, let's get right into the chapter. So to start off, we have a fight between Bomb and Ren, which pretty much goes exactly how we'd expect. Bomb knocks him around pretty bad. Neither party reveals any of their real abilities, and the entire time Ren is just amazed by Bomb's power. I'm not going to complain about the predictability and the cliche nature of this altercation for multiple reasons. One, because, well, it would be redundant. I've always talked about how much I don't like this, and you guys already know how I feel. And two, I actually think this was a really good setup for their future battle, which I have already read and reacted to on Patreon. I'll link in the description, by the way. But obviously I'm not going to spoil that here. Just know that I really enjoyed that fight, and with hindsight, I think that this fight actually did a pretty decent job at setting the stage for that one. So to be honest, there's no complaints here from me. Solid foundation for an amazing fight. I think the Mosquito Boy coming in to quote-unquote rescue Bomb, and then Bomb just effortlessly defending himself, was also a pretty cool moment. And then after this, we see Chaumaré deduce that the man who leaked information on the tournament was Jin Sung, and he calls Jin Sung in. And the first thing I noticed about this interaction was how the text box of Chaumaré was actually the same as Jihad's text box when Jihad was talking to Chaumaré. So this leads me to believe that this style of text box is used to denote an immense power gap of almost infinity between two people. I don't really know, that's not the most likely thing, or maybe it denotes one person speaking with absolute authority and another person speaking to that person back with fear, and not fear in the context of being scared, but like fear in the context of respecting the power and authority of that person, kind of like, you know, how somebody says they fear God in a way, you know. I don't know how likely that is either. I'm actually really curious, and at this point I kind of wish we had blog posts back so it's like you could explain what exactly that text box means. Let me know what you guys think is the exact meaning of those text box in the comments. But either way, it was a great scene. Jin Sung fearlessly justifying his actions, and then Chaumaré thinking of the appropriate reaction that would benefit him most was great to see. And then of course we get Chaumaré opting to spare Jin Sung in order to control Bomb, and then he makes Jin Sung give him the info of everybody that he sent the leak to. I also really like how Jin Sung tried to keep negotiating, but Chaumaré immediately shut him down, reminding the audience of his absolute authority. Chaumaré then monologues about how Jin Sung is foolish for always trying to go against the inevitable, which I thought was pretty good. We don't really get, like, for Jin Sung, right, he seems to be such an important character in the story, and we really don't get that much characterization on him. I mean, I did do like a little mini analysis on his character, but like, I feel like we just need more, right, because he's one of the most important people in Bomb's life. I'd argue that he's right up there with Kun and Rak, right. Bomb really loves and care about this guy, and he's a catalyst for an entire arc, and he's just such a major part of the story, and really a major part of the lore too. I mean, like, we see like all the family heads know him by name. They respect not his power, but they respect for sure his influence and what he's capable of doing, and now he just has this like real influence on Bomb as well. So like, he really is probably top 20, maybe, I don't know if that's maybe too much to say, maybe at least top 50 in terms of like influence and renown in the tower at this point, especially since, again, his relationship with Bomb, right, which skyrockets him even more, and now he's out here casually having conversations with family heads, right. And so I feel like we need more people really talking about Jin Sung and who he really is, right? And I like this idea of him being somebody who constantly goes against the inevitable. Being a member of TOG, it essentially means that you are trying to kill somebody who is immortal. Your entire existence, your entire reason for being revolves around finding a man who can do the impossible, slay an immortal god, right? And so it's just crazy how like we get Chaumaré of all people, a family head, really acknowledging this and being like, yeah, this man is the man who tends to always go against the inevitable, but he doesn't see this as, you know, as we do, as somebody who's courageous, somebody who's interesting, somebody who's admirable, right? Especially because we get the context of like his wife and all that stuff, right? Chaumaré just sees him as an idiot, right? And this fuels Chaumaré. He's like, yeah, I can let this guy basically do whatever he wants because I am Lopobia Chaumaré. I am the family head. Everything he does is going against the inevitable, right? It's like a 0% versus a 100%, right? It's just no contest. But just getting like, you know, a real family head's take on Jin Sung, it's pretty cool to see, man. I actually was like probably one of my favorite scenes in the chapter. We then get the reveal that Chaumaré is going to use this leak to his advantage and kill anyone who may oppose the marriage. Now this is great. But is he just bluffing like he usually does? Probably not. I think that all the bluffing is over. I think that all the bluffing, you know, again, retrospectively, I know when I was reading the chapters, I was extremely like antsy and anxious for Trauma to just kill people. But now that we've got, you know, family head bloodshed, and now that we've kind of like settled into this like equilibrium in a way where like everybody's gotten what they want and people are like more or less satisfied currently, I do think that like the bluffing and stuff wasn't that bad, and it was kind of necessary to get what he wanted. I was just very impatient at the time, but again, looking at it with hindsight and retrospect, it was not that bad, right? And so I do think, however, that the bluffing is over. Maybe I'm an optimist, but I just can't see Trauma showing mercy to anyone at this point who isn't Bomb or one of his best friends. But anybody else who tries to stand in his way that's not named Jin Sung Ha, Kun, or Rak is probably just dead. Trauma also mentioned using a sea snake, which will be a topic of discussion in future chapter reviews. Trust me, there really is no point in getting into all that now. And then at the end of the chapter, we see Yuri again for the first time in a while. And, you know, to be honest, I don't really care about it too much. I don't really like Yuri, but I know everybody's going to be freaking out about Yuri coming back, so I just had to mention in the review. And I already know that there's one guy right now typing a pro Yuri comment. Go ahead, bro. Honestly, I hope your parents are proud of the fact that you're fighting back tears over a random guy's opinion on the internet over a pixelated woman, bro. But anyways, that kind of took an aggressive turn. This chapter is overall decent. There was a lot of setup involved, but none of it was really boring. We set the stage for the Ren fight, an update on Traumre's current intentions, and we have teases for both the Sea Snake and Yuri, and again that little crumb on Jin Sung Ha, which for some reason it wasn't like the most important thing, but I personally just really enjoyed that dialogue between the two. If you enjoyed the video, please be sure to leave a like to counterbalance the people who don't like my honest opinions. Definitely be sure to check out the Patreon if you'd like to see my live reaction to this chapter, previous chapters, and all the unreleased chapters. A couple days ago, I uploaded my reaction on Patreon to chapters 563 to 565, so we are fully caught up on all of the Raws. So there's a lot of exclusive content out right now on there. And I make it available to all the tiers, so you know, at a minimum of $2 a month, you can get access to all of that. It's quite the steal if you ask me, but either way, I appreciate all the support, regardless if any monetary contribution is involved. Leave a comment on this video with thoughts on this chapter or on Tower of God as a whole to be featured in next week's discussion. Join the Discord in the description, and before I leave, I want to give a shout out to my patrons. We have two brand new patrons, Tikos and Joel. I really do appreciate the two of you guys from the bottom of my heart. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for becoming patrons. Then the OG patrons, Nicholas, Gavin, and Remorsefuls. Thank you guys so much for your continual support over the past almost like, bro, it's been like 6 months of just continued support on those irregular and access tiers, and that just truly means the world to me. When I first started this channel, I would have never guessed that there would be people supporting me like that. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next video, which will hopefully be out in a couple days, maybe by the end of the week, who knows, on the discussion on this chapter. Peace out, boys.